Hey everybody, what's up? It's Eldad here, and in today's video, I want to talk about this thing I'm calling the constraint stack. So I coach some incredible CEOs and builders and individuals, people that are building things. And generally, the work that I'm brought in to do is to help them find a different perspective, to help them grow, right? So they've either hit a plateau, they're looking for a new innovation, they're looking for a new way forward, and they need a second brain, essentially. That's what I do. And 9 out of 10 times, these conversations will start like a business conversation, but they'll almost always end up in a personal conversation. And I was one of these conversations yesterday at Kempinski. And the thing that I told the CEO, which I felt like is a very useful tool, especially for people that want to grow, whether in business or in life, is this idea of the constraint stack, right? Identifying where the constraints are for your next level of growth. So whoever you are, whether you're a manager, a CEO, especially for CEOs, but whether you're a manager, a CEO, a founder, or anybody trying to grow, you often are being hindered at specific levels, right? And if you don't understand those levels, it becomes extremely problematic. So what are those levels? Well, there are 4 levels. Level number 1 is what I call the craft, okay? So the first level in this constraint stack that many people deal with is craft. Then the next level that people deal with is systems. And then you have strategy. And then you have philosophy. Right? So whatever it is that you're building, whatever it is that you're doing, you're dealing with these 4 levels. Now, what is craft? Craft is the thing that you're good at doing, right? So if you're a designer, your craft is your design. If you're a developer, code is your craft. If you're an accountant, if you're a finance person, and even if you're a CEO, sometimes you will have some kind of a craft, especially in Ghana and Africa. Most CEOs build their business off of some type of a craft. Craft is the tangible output that you get to produce at the end of the day. It's the thing that everybody else gets to see. Now, beneath craft is systems, right? So your system is basically a collection of protocols that allows you to produce things on this craft level consistently, right? So let's say you produce, I don't know, clothes, or you manufacture, heck, even produce websites, or you produce a product, right? The system is a collection of protocols that you can run every single time to create predictable results. So it means that every time you want to produce something on this craft layer, you're not starting from scratch. It's like a recipe, right? There's a predictable set of steps that you can follow to produce that particular thing. Then you have strategy, right? Now, the strategy is a coherent set of activities that you're taking to allow you create some particular results in the market. So if you're in business or even in your life, like whatever outcome you're trying to get to, whether you want to, I don't know, be fitter, have better relationships, whether you want to grow your business, grow yourself, there is some kind of thinking around how you're going to achieve that. So typically, your strategy will inform your systems, right? And these first 3, people are fairly familiar with. So when you talk to them, people are fairly familiar with the notion of systems and the notion of strategy. But most people never go to the next layer, which I think is the most important, which is philosophy, right? And philosophy is your world view. What is your thinking about the world? What do you believe the world functions like? What do you think is true? What are the explanations that you have for how things happen? And the interesting thing is, at different stages in your business or in your life, if you feel like you're stuck, you're probably stuck at one of these levels. If you're stuck at the craft level, it means that growth is going to come from getting good at the thing that you're doing, right? So if you're a designer, developer, if you're an accountant, if you're a manager, whatever the primary output is, at the very beginning, growth is going to come from that craft level. So if you put this on a graph, you can say that if you're starting from 0, the first stop on your growth journey is craft. So in the very, very early stages of your career or the beginning of anything you're building, the better you get at the craft, the more growth you have, right? That is how it works. Now, there is a point where you start to hit diminishing returns. So you can keep building your craft and keep putting time in, but then you're not getting any results, right? You get flat. And this is where I think a lot of businesses are in Ghana right now, because they've been doing this for like 15, 20 years, 13 years, 6 years, 8 years, 7 years. And from that starting point, all they had to do was get better at the craft, right? Whatever it is, make better clothes, produce better fabrics, create better software, right? all you have to do is get better at the craft and you automatically create results. But when you plateau at the craft, where do you go next? Then your next level of growth is going to come from building systems, because systems now allow you to execute your craft much, much faster, right? So if I build a system around a craft, it means that I can go from producing one piece of output in 2 weeks to producing like 7 or 8, because now I have a system that I can run. And I, as a founder, as a leader, my headspace gets cleared. I have more time, I have more energy, I have more resources. And this level of optimization of growth is where most people will go to, right? They're like, oh yeah, build a system, build a system, build a system, build a system. But the problem is systems don't work properly without a strategy. That's why a lot of business owners also flip-flop, right? They will do one thing today and then they will hop to the next thing, then they'll hop to the next thing, then they'll hop to the next thing. And you may try to build systems for all those different things, but you realize that you're still not getting the results. Why? Because you do not have a strategy. Now, strategy is, like I said, a coherent set of steps, right? So your next level of growth is going to come from strategy. But the biggest lever for the people that I work with, for the CEOs looking to scale their business, is coming from their philosophy on the world. So if you're, let me give an example. The person I was talking to yesterday, for example, their philosophy is them doing more of the craft level is what will produce the results, because so far that's what has worked for them. So they believe that about the world. They believe that when life gets hard, when things get tough, you kind of have to forget about strategy and heck, even systems, and just power through, right? That's a philosophy. They didn't believe that they are ready yet to actually go into the market and command the value that they've built over the last 13, 14 years. That's a philosophy, right? A philosophy is a belief system that guides how you see the world. And many business owners actually, or many people actually have the wrong philosophy about life. And it's interesting because in the age of technology that we're getting to with AI and everything coming to the forefront, systems are going to get much easier to build, right? So if you're like somebody who works in a very specialized craft, you are crying right now because systems are getting easier and easier and easier and easier to build. So if systems get easier to build, what then is going to happen? We need better strategies. And if we need better strategies, what do we need to do? We need to have better philosophies at the end of the day. And I think that's a layer that people don't spend enough time building. So if you feel stuck, whether in your business or in life, in whatever it is that you're trying to build, the question that you need to ask yourself is, one, is it an output issue, right? Am I just not good at doing the thing? Two, is it a systems issue? Do I have enough systems that allow me to do the thing repeatably in a way that produces the outcome that I want every single time? Three, is it a strategy issue? Am I thinking properly about how I'm approaching this thing? Is my set of decisions around this particular thing clear enough to be able to get me the result? Or is it a philosophy thing, which is what do I believe about the world? Now, for most people, you are somewhere between craft, systems, and strategy at best, right? Most people are at the peak of their craft. And if you are there, the next layer is to unlock some systems. And if you're there, the next layer is to unlock some strategies. And then if you have great strategy, then you have to go to philosophy. And the cool thing is, not the cool thing actually, sorry. The challenging thing is that it's often really hard to see like the layer that comes next until this layer is solved, right? Sometimes the elite move is to start from philosophy. But I find that is a very hard thing for most people to do. But the elite thing will be to start from philosophy, because when you get your philosophy right, everything else changes, right? So as we get into April, we get into this new quarter, I hope you start to think about your business, your life, the things you're trying to build, and ask yourselves, where am I stuck? Where am I looking for growth? And is it a craft issue, system issue, strategy, or philosophy? Yeah, let me know in the comment sections if you have any questions, if you agree, if you disagree, if you have seen this in yourself before, and if you know a leader, a person, somebody who is currently stuck, is looking for ways to grow, show them this video, send this video to them. I think it might give them a sense of where to start from. And if you have any questions, put it in the chat, and also follow me. I'm going to be releasing these videos more often, these whiteboard sessions, because I find that they are more useful to people. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Cheers.